Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the networking break. It's now time for the third chapter of the Fleet Latam Conference 2021. And that chapter is called Data to Ensure Fleet and Mobility Efficiency. And we start this chapter with an exciting panel discussion. You see already the three experts on your screen, and that panel discussion is titled Fleet Efficiency and TCO Optimization Through Data Intelligence. Ladies and gentlemen, may I welcome to you Yuliya Lapenkova. Yuliya Lapenkova, she is the Global Senior Procurement Manager at Danone, one of the biggest multinationals across the globe. Yuliya, welcome. Welcome in the panel.
Thank you very much.
The second panel member in our session is Juan Cardona, VP Sales Latin America at Geotab. Juan, hello.
Thank you, Steve. Nice to be here with you.
And the third expert today is Fernando Ferreira, Channel Sales Director, Latin America at Lytx. Also, Fernando, welcome to the panel.
Thank you, Steve. Happy to be here.
Thank you. First round, first of all, for those people that might not know your company, can you in 1 to 2 sentences explain what your company is about and how many vehicles you manage across Latin America? And we start with Yuliya.
Yeah, thank you, Steven. So in Danone, it's a really big international company. We are presented in around 62 countries, and we have fleet of 13,500 cars across the globe. 25% of this fleet is allocated in Latam.
Okay, so that's quite a big chunk, and it will be interesting to hear about your insights. We continue with Juan. Juan, can you also explain the core business of your company, please, and how many vehicles do you manage across Latin America?
Thank you, Stephen. Yes, Geotab is the largest telematics company in the world. We have presence all around the world, and in Latin America, we have quite a little bit more than 150,000 vehicles, and we have presence in all Latin countries. So I'm happy to be here.
Okay. And finally, Fernando, same question for you. How is Lytx represented across Latin America?
Yes, thank you, Steve. So Lytx is a leading video telematics service provider in the US. We recently, last year, acquired a company called Surfsight. This is a new product for us that we are using to expand into international markets. Our efforts into Latin America started this year, and we have a global partnership with Geotab, in fact, to go into these markets.
Okay, so Fernando and Juan, you both know each other.
Yep.
Okay, good. Let's start with the first question, a question for Juan. Juan, when we talk about connected technology in Latin America, where do you see the most benefits and the most value? Is it in route optimization? Is it in fuel efficiency? Is it in safety? What's your vision about it?
Well, it's very interesting, the Latin market, because the lack of railroads in general in Latin America increase or scope of business. And, what customers are looking at this moment, it's the efficiency on the routing and especially in safety. Safety is one of the key points right now in Latin America, especially during this time of the COVID, because a lot of the companies are moving their business into logistics. So routing, efficiency, and safety are the key points for them right now.
Okay. Would like to continue with Yuliya. Yuliya, do you already have connected services and telematics in your fleet across Latin America?
Specifically for Latin America, yes, we do have it in Brazil. So we implemented this a couple of years ago, and I think that it's a very good point that Juan just made now because of safety and routing, because I know that initially that project was made because of the safety, the driver safety, because a lot of our drivers, they are having a car as a tool, so they have to deliver water, other products, etc. But we also found some great ways to optimize fuel, routing, and other elements which are super important for the fleet.
Fernando, would like to continue with you. We already heard about some of the benefits of connected solutions across Latin America. Can you a little bit elaborate on what are the hard and the soft wins of connected technology for companies across Latin America?
Yes, so from the Lytx perspective, we bring the added value of video to these solutions. We have a strong focus on safety and security. So we see the value not only in terms of what was mentioned, but the ability to improve the behavior of these drivers and add value to these solutions that already exist. So our focus is on adding video telematics to current fleets that have solutions from Geotab, for example, and allowing them to improve even more now that we have visibility into what's happening.
Okay. Juan, do you have the impression that vehicle fleet managers in Latin America have a good understanding about the value of telematics and connected technology? We heard from Yuliya that they already have in Brazil, for example, a telematics program and that they see benefits. But do you have the impression that, yes, the fleet managers are well aware of the possible added value of those technologies?
Steven, this is a great question, especially for Latin America. It's a challenge that we see into the market, and I know that Fernando has the same impression as myself. There is a lack of knowledge about the benefits of telematics. So in Geotab, we are in a campaign to evangelize the customers or fleet managers to understand all the benefits that telematics can bring to the company in everything, in terms of safety, routing, and economy. So that is a huge challenge, but we have also customers that understands very well this, and especially in large countries like Brazil or Mexico, the people understand really well the technology. So we are increasing the market very well.
Okay. Yuliya, you have a global fleet, you have telematics in Brazil. I can imagine that you also have telematics and perhaps pilots with connected technology in other countries. How do you deal with explaining and convincing local stakeholders about the value and the benefits of a technology like telematics?
That's a great question. It really differs from country to country, and it really depends on the objectives you are having. And I think that the main problem is coming from the expectations versus reality, because people, I mean, when it comes to telematics, this is the data, right? When you have the data, this is the basic fundamental step you have to take if you want to achieve some certain results. And people would think, okay, if I have the data, then all the issues will be solved. It's not true. Then you need to have some insights on top of the data, which would bring you to some certain results. That's the hugest challenge we are having. However, if you know the purposes, the objectives of each CBU, you would be able to match it, versus the capabilities of the tool.
Okay. Fernando, Lytx is specialized in enhanced video telematics. How do you see the adoption and the appetite for technology like video telematics across Latin America?
Yes, it varies country by country. We are seeing huge demand in markets like Brazil, like Mexico, like Colombia, especially from global fleets, companies that have global fleets and are looking for a cost-effective solution for the region. We are seeing huge demand, in fact, more than we expected. So we think in terms of the increased focus on safety and specifically security, within the concept of safety, there's a huge need for video solutions that can add that value to the current telematic solutions that these fleets have. Okay. So it's been increasing as COVID forced companies to operate more as logistics companies. The need for video is increasing every day.
I would like to add something to Fernando's answer, because we see that very, very often in Latin America, customers that probably ask for a simple solution, and then when they understand the benefit to have the video in the cabin of the vehicle, immediately they start asking us to include Fernando's solution in our proposal.
Yes, just another comment on that. We are very focused on bringing a very cost-effective solution to the market. We understand that Latin America is a very price-sensitive market, unlike the US or Europe. So we are focused with Geotab and partnering and bringing a solution that is cost-effective and can be used with value, considering the reality of each country, not a global regional view, but specifically for each country's economy.
But then, Fernando, does this mean that if you need to be cost conscious in that region, that this can have an impact on the quality of services that you can bring across the region?
So that would be true 5-10 years ago. With the advancement in artificial intelligence that we have, we can replace many of those factors that increase the cost with AI now. Our AI model is fed with millions and millions of driven miles across the world. So our model has really good capabilities at a very low cost, operating on hardware that is very simple and is very, very accurate. So one of the goals of going into Latam is leveraging artificial intelligence to lower the cost of the solution while keeping the very high value to the end user.
Okay, good. Let's talk now about buying the technology. And I would like to start with Yuliya. Yuliya, what are the issues, the challenges you as a corporate fleet buyer might have when looking for the right telematics product or the right connected solutions product?
The challenge is there. There is a number of different solutions present on the market. Some of them are coming from the OEMs directly. Some of them are coming from fleet management companies and also standalone companies. And from the buying perspective, you always start with your needs, right? And based on those needs, you build up the criteria, requirements, according to which you would be choosing the right solution. And I think this is the missing point for the buying party nowadays, because telematics, this technology is still an innovation. And whenever we talk to, we're speaking about innovation, we struggle to understand what exactly we can pull out of this technology. So this is where I see demand and supply sides can work a little bit more closely, you know, just to help us with your expertise, to give us case studies so that we can reflect better on our needs.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, then you say, please, Geotab, please, Lytx, and also the others, explain to us concretely what kind of value you can bring to us for what kind of cost and with what kind of return on investment.
Absolutely. And also, you know, I can hear from the colleagues on the other side, the technology is constantly developing. So we are not following up. So please update us what you have now. Please tell us what additional value you can give to us.
Okay, that is a free advice to Fernando and to Juan. So thank you very much, Yuliya. And Juan, would like to continue with you. What are the key criteria to look at if, as a fleet manager, you are going into the market and you are looking for a connected solution or a telematics program? What are the basic things that you need to look at?
Well, it depends on the strategy of each one of the companies. And as Yuliya said, we use a lot of information from our 2 million customers connected that we have right now in the world. And we, suggest what other customers are doing or are looking. But first of all, in Latin America, is, as we mentioned at the beginning, is safety is number one. Number two, it's the routing, efficiency in routing. And number three, in Latin America, the cost of the vehicles or the assets are very high. So to help them to protect those vehicles, not only in terms of security or safety, but at the same time in maintenance. The maintenance is super important here, so to predict maintenance. And at the same time, the payment for the drivers. We link our platform with payment roles. So it's a key point there because they have one solution that can cover a lot of areas of the company.
Mm-hmm. Yuliya, what is the expected return on investment of a telematics program? What do you want it to give to you as a company?
Well, the highest priority would be obviously the driver safety. And on top of this intangible, let's put it that way, benefit, it's also linked with some certain efficiency, right? Because it results to the insurance costs afterwards. But when it comes to routing and the economy, well, I can give you a number. Up to 20%. Would it be too much ambitious?
I don't know. We will ask. We will ask first to Juan and then to Fernando. Juan.
Well, it's we see for experience the company's return of investment is quite immediate for them when they invest in telematics and they start adding more features to understand the technology, understand the behavior of their fleets, so they will have a return of investment almost the next month. It's quite immediate.
And how big can that return on investment be if you look at the complete, let's say, life cycle of a fleet?
Well, we see companies that could have 15-20% of safety in that matter. So they can invest that or return that safety into behavior of, better technology in terms of vehicles or of much better working atmosphere for their employees.
Okay, that's already good news, Yuliya. We are now going to Fernando. Perhaps via video telematics, the ROI can even be higher, Fernando.
Yes, I think, and adding to the points that were made, there's a second level of return on this investment. If it's video or not, it doesn't really matter, but there's a second level of return when you start integrating these platforms to your enterprise systems and you start seeing benefits that you originally didn't expect. So we have worked extensively in the ability to integrate into corporate systems that would allow our customers to see benefits that they originally didn't imagine. So they can recover their investment faster and also improve the ROI medium term and longer term.
If you talk about benefits that they didn't imagine, are you then talking about money or are you talking about other benefits?
Both quantifiable and others. A good example when you do integration would be, for example, the ability to feed into your learning management system the information of driver behavior so you can plan your training. That would be a very simple example. Another example would be just the ability to report in a detailed, very customized way what your driver behavior is. For example, you could categorize the type of accidents you're having and where your cost is coming from to work to reduce that cost. So that is very quantifiable. So again, I think it depends very much on the country, the situation in that market, and each and every specific fleet, because they have different characteristics, right?
Okay. Yuliya, you now have already a telematics program in Brazil. Do you have plans to expand the telematics into other countries across Latin America at Danone?
I definitely see a huge added value of this solution. Of course, it still remains the local decision. We do not see any point to implement it, from the global point of view, because, again, needs are very much specific, but we definitely promote it across countries because this is the way to have the data and to be more consistent and in the first place in terms of driver safety.
Okay. Juan, if you look a little bit at the evolution and the uptake of telematics across Latin America, how do you see the future? What can we expect in terms of the uptake of telematics? And perhaps what countries do you think will be at the forefront?
Well, at Geotab, we identify, the big markets as Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, Chile, Argentina, they are huge markets for us, not because of the population, but as I mentioned, the lack of railroads. We see that a lot of goods are moved by road. So the future that what I see is use the machine learning or in artificial intelligence. So those tools could help us to, be more efficient, because in this case, the vehicle and the system will learn day to day. So that helps us to improve the technology. And for us at Geotab, we can bring more technology every day to the customer so they can use it in their own benefit.
Fernando, why wouldn't Yuliya and other fleet managers and corporate fleet buyers wait with telematics until it's integrated directly with the vehicle manufacturer and offered with the vehicle?
They definitely could. I think it's a matter of creating an analysis for each company and each fleet to make that decision. That's not necessarily a good or bad decision. It will depend on their situation, right? So our recommendation is just to look at the model, see if there is benefit now, see what the benefit is, and make an informed decision.
Okay. Let's move to the next chapter in our discussion. That is about the future of technology. Juan, would like to start with you. How will connected technology make fleet management in general smarter and support the transition to mobility management?
Well, this is a really good question, Steven, because with the new situation that we are facing with the COVID, a lot of companies wants to be more efficient, and the companies understands that their employees they don't have to spend time in this commuting, and probably they leave them to keep using the company car, the vehicle, in their own time, but they want to know where is the vehicle, if they're using the proper way. So this technology, what we see is applicable in the future for this new reality, and at the same time, the employee will have that kind of benefit, and probably in some cases they sees them that the company is interfering in their own privacy, but it's not the case. They are using in the more efficient way for their own benefit and for the benefit of the company.
Yuliya, we know that in our industry, almost everything gets connected. If we talk about shared mobility, electric mobility, then connectivity plays a huge role. Looking at that, do you fear a concern about and around data privacy?
Absolutely. As you fairly mentioned, technology is an essential of our lives today, and we are tracked by almost each device which has an internet connection. That's why I think people are getting more and more anxious about how and where the private data is used. And in this connection, I fully understand being also person who is very much defensive about my privacy. Actually, why should I be tracked additionally? Even with this supreme goal of the company to optimize, to be more efficient, you do not really know by how much you can be protected by legislation or the company. So therefore, of course, there is a resistance both from HR and from people to be tracked.
Fernando, in a reaction to what Yuliya just mentioned, is there a risk for so-called function creep with connected technology? And how can fleet managers and drivers protect themselves to this?
Yeah, one of our focuses is in fact privacy and the risk of the technology being used for purposes that it wasn't designed for. So what we have done is we have created enough of a powerful platform to where our partners and our consumers can configure it to protect this privacy, and it varies per region too. So what we have done is make it as powerful as we can, giving power to the fleet manager to make sure that number one, legislation, number two, company policies can be correctly implemented in terms of privacy. And also other types of use, because at the end of the day, technology like this can be abused like any other. We want to empower our customers to protect themselves.
Juan, how do you look at the future of machine learning and artificial intelligence?
Well, it's incredible because day to day, the machines are learning faster. And with the efficiency of telematics in this same umbrella, helps the companies to use the artificial intelligence in their own benefits. For example, if we have a delivery and we see that it arrived 5 minutes late, and the next day you have to go to the same address, the machine immediately tells you that you have to leave certain point to start the delivery at certain hour to avoid the delay, because of they learn the traffic, they learn about the weather, and they learn also about the timing that they spend during the transition between point A to point B. So it's incredible how today artificial intelligence with machine learning are working in our benefit to save time and be safe.
Also at your company, Fernando, artificial intelligence is very important. In what way will it further stimulate and increase the benefits of your technology for those corporate fleets?
Yeah, one of the things that we are doing that is a little bit different is we are using AI models at the device level. So we can track events in that device at the device level with computer vision and generate a series of alerts to help drivers self-correct. So the more we can do that, the more we will be able to adapt to the use cases needed in each country and by each fleet. So you will have a very customized solution that in time will always add more and more and more value, because as your reality changes, the AI model will adapt to that reality. So we believe the future will be of very customized solutions based on AI, machine learning, where the more information from millions of miles we feed into that model, the more it will be able to be customized and adapt to our market's needs.
Okay. Yuliya, do you think that at one point in the near future, you should almost be an IT woman to be a successful corporate fleet manager with all that technology that is involved?
Not necessarily the IT woman or a man, but technology should definitely help you, so that you do not spend much time on the operational work, collecting the data, putting it together, etc., but already really working with the data and really looking at the opportunities, how you can improve your efficiency. That's what I'm looking forward to be honest.
But you don't see that it will change dramatically the role that you have?
I really don't know what to say here, because it also depends on the direction which company would take, and because everything is changing nowadays, also the commuting, and we're traveling less, and how we're going to use that fleet in the future. So but I still think that there should be someone looking after the fleet, but just slightly different in terms of the role. Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to add to that.
Yes.
I believe companies like Lytx and Geotab have the responsibility of making sure that we provide tools that don't necessarily change the role to an IT role, make it user-friendly enough to where these are tools to better perform your function, not transform it.
So what you are saying is that it's not a purpose that your technology is going to make the role of the fleet manager obsolete.
No, my perspective is that definitely we need to make that role evolve and provide tools based on their needs, not what we imagine the needs are. So the feedback from those fleet managers will allow us to provide a very customized solution that fits their needs, and doesn't force them to transform their role to fit our idea of a solution.
We now talked about the role of the fleet manager. Let's then talk about the role of the fleet management company. Could it change the role of the fleet management company as it can due to artificial intelligence, connectivity? I can imagine that having all that data, perhaps the role of that leasing company, that fleet management company, can change in the future. What is your vision on that, Juan?
Well, the fleet management company are here to help the companies to be more efficient. So what we are trying to do is to standardize the data for them to make it easier to manage and to understand, as Fernando said, their needs, and you know, for other companies, you know, to make smart decisions about that, because we collect information for a lot of sources, a lot of different brands of vehicles and different technologies. And the idea here is to have one standard for them, so they can work with that information to you know, to make the smart decision which kind of vehicles they should have, at what time they start making the routing, or the kind of people that they need to hire, and also the training using the artificial intelligence for the drivers, right?
Okay. Yuliya, final question for you. What will be next on your agenda for your fleet in Latin America?
Mexico.
And what are you going to do in Mexico?
I would like to see what is the landscape. And again, I have my colleagues in Mexico, right? Maybe we should raise this question again, how we should optimize our fleet and how we can improve it with the technology.
Okay. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to end this panel discussion. I would like to thank our experts. I would like to thank Yuliya, Fernando, and Juan. Thank you very much. Thank you for your insights and your explanation. It was great meeting with you. And I hope, of course, that you can enjoy the rest of our conference.